detective. Thrill me.
Welcome back to the Thrill Me podcast. Thanks for tuning in. The four of us have actually got together now. Scheduling conflicts are over with. It was a bit difficult getting everyone together for this. But tonight's film, wrong bet. Jean-Claude Van Damme, very early Jean-Claude Van Damme. But before we get into all that, what we haven't recorded for a couple of weeks, so we must have decent lists. Matty, go ahead, mate. What have you been watching?
Yeah, still running with Black Lightning. Yeah, not as good as it was when it started out, but it's not too bad. Still entertaining. Jessica Jones. I started Jessica Jones the second season, which I think is probably a bit more up my alley, a bit darker. Rewatched The Other Guys, thinking I hadn't seen it before, and didn't realise until I was about 20 minutes in that I had seen the whole thing. So I'll figure in another 6 months I'll watch it again, not realising that I've seen it.
That's that famous attention to detail, mate. was that a Jonathan Abrams picture?
It's J. I started the stand-ups, which has just people doing stand-up, which is good. I watched one episode of Crazy Head. I don't know if you've heard that. It's like this girl, you're not sure if she's in her head or she's actually seeing visions. And it's on
Netflix?
Yeah, Netflix.
I haven't even seen it.
Yeah, it's on there. It's an English one, I think. But, yeah, I left that behind.
Sounds good then.
Yeah, Nightcrawler, I started that with Jake Gyllenhaal. Yeah. And I got bored of that, you know.
Oh, you didn't like it?
Well, I think I was just tired when I started it. And
it's pretty good. It's pretty full on, but...
Yeah. And Guardians of the Galaxy 2, which I loved. There's a lot to be said for an amazing soundtrack. And Kurt Russell's voice is actually pretty cool. I'm down with Kurt. I haven't heard him talk in a while.
Kurt Russell at all. He's
still got a mullet.
He's still rocking it. It's a salt and pepper mullet. It's bloody fantastic.
His hair in the whole thing's quality in that. When they young him up and he looks a bit like Mitch from fucking Baywatch. and he's got that flowing, like he's got the big wings out the side, and that's a quality hairstyle.
He's got some charisma, that bloke. So So that was pretty much my last couple of weeks.
Oh, yours was easy.
Yeah, I started everything and didn't finish anything.
Attention to detail, completist attitude, it's great.
Committed, I like it.
I had a little bit of crossover. I'm still been watching Black Lightning, but it's under duress at this point. I'm not a fan.
How far? You're a card-carrying member of the James Remar fan club. That's
that bloke.
Remar.
Who keeps giving him a job? He should be shot and dead set, never ever on a film again.
Quick bit of trivia, he was actually Hicks in Aliens.
Yeah.
And then he was fired after a couple of days.
Probably because they heard him speak. Line delivery.
He had a massive drug problem.
Yeah, massive drug problem, but I'm
not massive enough.
That was just the excuse. Everyone's like, too many drugs while everyone else was going out the back to snort a few lines at that
his
point.
line delivery is
I think that's what he actually
fucked.
said, didn't he, in a podcast or something?
Yeah. Remar said he was in a terrible place and deserved to get the arse at that point.
He hasn't left.
He's still in that place.
I was talking to Jared about it the other day, and there's one line he did. I think it was in episode 8 because I'm up to current. Episode 8, and he's Jefferson, you're just so damn stubborn. And then he sort of pauses and then turns around. It's like, what the fuck was that?
He delivered it with the same urgency as I burnt me dinner or something like that.
But everything he does, nothing rings true. It's like he's putting the wrong emphasis on everything and the wrong emotion in the wrong scene. Nothing works.
Some of that. Hey, so also the chick, the lady, what's her name? The woman that died.
Oh, Lady Eve, yeah.
And sorry to ruin her. Yeah. She pulled out a Chappelle quote in there. She called someone a habitual line crosser.
Yes, line stepper.
He's an habitual line stepper, that's right. That was the Rick James skit.
Yeah.
You can't
use that in a serious context.
No,
You're not expecting
God. Speaking of Chappelle, I actually read that video of him playing Little John at the airport.
Yeah.
What?
So I'll finish the season.
So you don't rate it?
Mate, I can see some good stuff at the start, and as we talked about with Jared the other day as well, the fact that they're bringing his kids in as well now, it's going to be this little super team thing. Everything just feels so paint by numbers and very rote, and I'm just...
Yeah. It's turning into the conspiracy.
That with the heavy-handed, we're making a racial commentary, I think that's a great idea. I think they're just doing a terrible job with it. Yeah. It's too heavy-handed and it's not working for me. So
it's just so far it's all the police's fault and nobody else does anything wrong. It's I found that a bit hard to swallow in like parts.
That said, the American police at the moment are not doing themselves any favours on that front, but it's just not. It doesn't feel like it's done effectively, and it's not going to maybe achieve what they want it to.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a bummer.
There's a crime that involves electricity. Has to be Black Lightning. So dumb.
Yeah. Was he wearing a hoodie? So, speaking of other things that didn't work for me, Zoolander 2, finally watched it with the little bloke for some reason.
Did he like it?
No.
No, not even he liked
No, it was just grown
it. I
fest.
thought that... I got the feeling that was kind of an Anchorman 2.
That was ultimate.
But Anchorman 2 is better than it.
Yeah, but that was bad.
It was
still.
terrible,
It was
yeah.
terrible.
It was ultimate kind of Will Ferrell. You know, in his scenes, it was classic Will Ferrell. Yeah, this is all miss. There's no hit.
Yeah, and he just doesn't know yet.
Yeah, but you know, it was the whole movie. It's like Ben Stiller.
At times, Ferrell, and this comes back to Anchorman 2 as well. He's absolutely tone deaf.
Yeah.
He's just got no concept of this stuff's not funny, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
when you're on
happens to a lot
schedule
of them,
and you've been ad-libbing for
Yeah.
an hour, and it's still
The
nothing.
director's got to say, look, just deliver the line that you've been given.
But look, the same thing happened to Adam Sandler. The same thing happened to how about this guy from
Oh, yeah, that
Austin
bloke.
Powers.
Yeah, I know.
I can't even think of
Myers,
his
yeah.
Mike Myers. Like they're all like at the peak, and then for whatever reason, their stuff just doesn't work anymore, and they don't know it.
Mind you,
And it's
Will
just
Ferrell
awkward.
and Will Ferrell in Eastbound and Down is the best.
Yeah.
Mate, some of Will Ferrell's movies, some of his stuff I've loved.
Don't
Like
get me
his
wrong, mate. The guy's still capable. He's still capable
Anchorman
of
1
doing
is
the right
probably
thing.
one
but
of the funniest movies I've ever
But
seen.
he has to know when to pull up. He
Yeah.
doesn't know when to pull up.
He's just always in SNL mode, and it's just it's a bit rough.
He thinks that it's all funny, and it's not.
Speaking of not funny, Neighbours 2.
Oh yeah, Bad Neighbours.
No, neighbours.
Bad Neighbours 2. They just called it Neighbours 2 for right.
Yeah,
They had the brand recognition, I guess, but
I didn't even see the first one.
the first one wasn't funny either. Watch this one. It's really it chops and changes with it's basically about a sorority this time instead of a fraternity, and there's just some really dodgy stuff in there that I don't know how people get to make movies about it, to be honest, but
Carrie 2.
hey, why not? I watched Popstar Never Stop Never Stopping on Jared's recommendation.
Yeah. It wasn't a recommendation. It was kind of like, there'll be some funny bits.
You said the name of the movie, mate. That's all I needed.
I mean, he's now misrated poo emojis.
Look, I'm going to throw it to you this way. When he was autographing the penis, you would have been in stitches.
Yeah, the window going up and down. No, mate, there was a couple of bits in there that I loved.
Yeah.
And Andy Samberg, he's similar to Ferrell in a lot of ways. He's very hit and very miss.
There was 10-minute stretches.
There's some bits we
not
just
a
like,
laugh.
fucking shut up and can we move on? But there's some other bits in there where I was just cracking up.
Yeah.
So it's not terrible. It's way better than Zoolander or Neighbours 2, which is fucking a pretty heavy indictment on them. I watched Goon 2.
What was that
The
like?
ice hockey one with
'Cause I heard the first
Sean
one was
William Scott. Well, for what it is, like
marketing.
the second one's basically the exact same movie. He's just older and starting to have a family and stuff.
Right.
Very similar sort of setup. So you can't really it's not bad, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It's if you've seen the first one, you've seen the second one, really.
Okay.
I watched a movie called 3 Days to Kill with Kevin Costner in it and Haley Steinfeld, I think. Haley Steinfeld. She's a singer.
Is that any good? Is it kind of like you're taken?
Guess who the director is? Think about a really
Abrams.
B grade action director with a stupid name.
Not
McGee.
McGee. Oh, you had it, damn it. I was going to say Pitoff, who directed Catwoman. But
No, it's a McGee.
McGee, yeah,
It's a McGee
yeah.
joint.
Nah.
It's not bad,
Yeah.
but it's not good. So
it's Costner
if you've got
dipping his
2
toe
hours-
in the Neeson waters, isn't it?
yeah, well, he's done it a few times now. It's if you've seen that one where he's the serial killer with the split personality as well,
Mr. Brooks,
Mr.
yeah.
Brooks. It's got a sort of similar vibe to that.
Yeah.
He's like a special agent, and he's like got this terminal disease, and the CIA can help him if he does this mission. Stupid shit. If you got 2 hours and you don't ever want to remember it, watch that movie.
Okay.
I watched Ace Ventura 1 and 2 with the little bloke.
I love the first movie.
So-
It was on the other night, and I was just sitting there laughing my ass
Dude,
off.
that stuff still works.
I know.
Again, there's some very rough stuff in this day and age that you like, some super homophobic stuff,
What's his comment?
super
You
racist,
really love
super
animals, don't
sexist.
you? If it gets cold enough.
There was some stuff where I was like
Why-
covering his ears, but he like that the comedy for whatever reason still works on kids.
Yeah.
He
Why-
pissed himself.
There's those lines that always get you, no matter how many
Ray Finkel?
times you see it. I'm looking for Ray Finkel. and a clean pair of shorts. Every single time. It gets me. Every time.
Anytime he stuck his head out the window like a dog, like anytime he did any of that stupid shit.
That sequence where he realises that the female captain's dude.
Yeah, and he's like, but even
his clothes.
that's a bit, it's a bit on the nose now.
Doesn't stand up so well.
No, it doesn't stand up, but it's still.
But then when he tells everyone in the station, and they're like, ah, and like trying to like rub their tongue, like that's. Yeah, that's not good.
Again,
but Dylan didn't know what was going on. He just thought it was funny, so it was fine.
Nice.
So that was we watched the two of those. I rewatched Django Unchained.
Oh, yeah.
I sort of just went on like a
Tarantino.
Just into Netflix and just watched some stuff that I'd watched before for some reason. I love that movie. It's still so good.
Yeah.
Christoph Waltz is awesome in that. You want to talk about good line deliveries? That guy does everything perfect in that movie, as far as I'm concerned.
He's fantastic.
Did he win an Oscar for that?
No, I don't think so.
He won it for. Did he win it?
He
for
won it for
Inglourious
Inglourious
Basterds.
Basterds,
Yeah.
but I think he might have also won.
I think he
for
might have
Django
got
Unchained.
Did he? I thought he
But
got
he got the
nominated.
supporting actor for
I think he
Django.
got
And
at least a nomination.
Yeah.
If he didn't win the thing.
No, he should have. He should have.
I think he won 2 in 3 years. I think.
Yeah, okay, well that totally makes sense for me because it's one of my favourite movie characters of all time, Dr. King Schultz, what a legend. I rewatched Expendables 3.
Yeah, I remember watching
Those
that.
movies are not meant to be
Really
rewatched.
impressed.
I don't know, I wanted to watch it and I didn't know why, but I did, so got it out of the way. I watched one called A Futile and Stupid Gesture.
No.
I haven't seen it. It's kind of like a biopic, but it's a bit more comedy than that. It's about the guy that created National Lampoon.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. No, I've got it on the list. I haven't watched it yet.
I've heard about it.
It's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Will Forte in it.
That guy's good.
He is a weird dude.
Yeah.
He's basically MacGruber as a comic book author in this one. It's
Right.
the same thing, but very different movie. But I'd definitely recommend that one. I watched on my brother's recommendation, which I found out halfway through the movie was a piss take. I watched one called Birth of the Dragon on Netflix.
Oh, is that about Bruce
Do
Lee?
not watch it. No, it has a character
Is
in
it
it.
like Kung Fu or whatever that stupid one?
It's got a character in it called Bruce Lee, but the movie's about a guy called
You
Steve
sure it's not Bruce Lee?
McKee. It's basically Bruce Lee's in it, and it's supposed to be about his fight with a guy called Wong Jack Man, who was a Buddhist Shaolin monk. No, that's actually a real thing that happened. So he came over and he was like having a crack at Bruce because he was teaching Americans or whatever.
Did Bruce dish it out to him?
But the movie,
yeah.
the movie is actually about this Steve McKee guy who's not a real character, trying to save this woman from sex slavery, who's not a real character, and Bruce is just his friend. It's the weirdest shit. Like my brother's like, oh, it's really good, watch it. And the fight choreography, to be honest, is actually quite good. But he sent me a text halfway through it. He's going, "You want to fucking kill me yet?" And I'm like, "You little prick!" Like it's really bad.
He stitched you.
He stitched me up, yeah, big time.
Classic Stitcher.
Which is
No, now you can watch Kung Pao.
I think he was happy he could get one over on me because he doesn't watch as many movies. But yeah, he fucking got me there. I watched Ferdinand with the kids.
Yeah, that's
The
all right,
animated one.
Ferdinand.
It's not bad. John Cena is he's a pretty talented dude.
Yeah.
And I had a bone to pick with you guys over your
Big Bopper too,
your
or-
wrestling thing. Nathan Jones. It was in Troy. You didn't mention Troy.
Oh, was he in Troy?
Yeah.
I told Adam he'd had an extensive career. I just wasn't
But we knew he was going to win because he had Mad Max on the resume.
he
And
he
who was
played-
he up against?
put him up against.
A couple of blokes who...
It wasn't good. He had him pretty
They got
well covered.
absolutely trounced.
He played Belagrius in Troy. He's
He
the one
must
where
have only been in it very briefly.
he was
Sorry, was that
the,
Bogo Road Adrius?
yeah. No, he was the dude where Brad Pitt's like sleeping with two chicks and they have to come and wake him up to go and fight the and he's a giant obviously, but anyway, John Cena in Ferdinand, pretty good actually. His voice work was good. I actually also watched Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Don't need to say much about it. Not as good as the first one. I watched a movie called
Still good.
Sleeping Beauty on, it was either Netflix or Stan, and I thought it was just like a modern retelling sort of thing. Nope. She's a dark tale. It's basically this young lady who is...
Was this another stitch up?
No, I just thought, oh, I'll check this out and see what it is, because it looks sort of, it had like that foreign film sort of vibe with it. Maybe it's interesting. It might be just like a...
Was it foreign film?
No, it's just
Sounds
a
like
bad
a
film.
preview.
It's basically softcore porn. Very creepy and not pleasant to watch. It's a young lady who's basically like a premium escort for elderly gentlemen. But she takes drugs so that she's knocked out
And she goes
wild
into
things
like
that- No, they walk into the room. She's asleep in bed with no clothes on. They do what they want, and she wakes up in the morning, gets paid, and goes.
Good.
It is unpleasant. No, I started skipping. She went, "What is this? What?" And I was like looking away. I'm like, "No, this is. It's bad."
Oh, what?
Yeah, like full frontal across the board.
I'm assuming I don't think it's on Netflix.
I think it is on. It was Netflix or Stan. It's definitely on one of those two.
I would have found it by now.
It's-
No, I think it.
Anyway, don't fall into the trap I fell into.
Good lord.
And then the last one, which is the high end of my very fucking shit list, to be honest. I watched Annihilation on Netflix, which is the new Alex
really
Garland.
Cool. Yeah.
It's different. It's not as good as Ex Machina. I didn't enjoy it as much, but it's got some cool stuff in it. Yeah, I won't go into it all because all three of you should watch it for sure. But yeah, I rated it pretty high. Like Ex Machina was one of my favourite movies of that year.
It's really good.
This is probably like a notch below that, but still some really cool stuff in it. So that's me. Finally.
Look, I'll jump into mine because it's pretty short and sweet. I basically did a lot of Netflix original stuff. I watched Joel McHale show. Yeah, I got laughs.
Love it.
The only thing I don't like is when he keeps rolling out these celebrities for these pretty, quite frankly, unfunny parts.
It's kind of like facial name dropping.
The best things are when he is talking about, love and hip hop in Miami or some bullshit like that. And he's showing
But
it.
they got it. Basically, they used to do that with E, and now that he's on Netflix, they're doing it.
Yeah, doing it
Thankfully,
the
they're keeping it to one per episode.
Yeah.
But the last episode had Adam Devine, and that was
Yeah, and it also
quite
had
amusing.
Drew Barrymore, didn't it?
Because you could tell he was not keeping up. He was trying to read Spanish, but he was not keeping up with the teleprompter.
Yeah.
Speaking of
That
like
was
someone
quite
that's
amusing.
everywhere at the moment, Adam Devine is in and on everything. At the moment. He's like Humphrey. He's just all over the place.
We also watched. Me and the missus watched a new one series that came on called On My Block, and it's like it's basically like a coming of age sort of tale, but it's set in like South Central Los Angeles.
Happy it didn't involve any escorts or anything.
Thank God.
Don't, mate. I'm
But
just
look,
trying to warn you.
You know what? It was pretty funny, and it actually had a couple of nice little dramatic bits near the end that kind of worked out well. So give it a go. It's only half-hour episodes, so it's pretty short and sharp. It's only about 10
Thanks,
episodes.
Molly. Do yourself a
Do
favour.
yourself a favour. I watched the horror film they put out called The Ritual.
The four blokes going into the woods.
I think
Is it
you
good?
would like it.
I've got it on my
doesn't
list.
hang at the end. It doesn't quite hold together all the way, but the first hour is really creepy.
It reminded me of The Descent, the ladies that go
It
cave
has
diving.
a bit of that.
Yeah,
But it has some really creepy shit in the early stages.
yeah, it's on my list, man.
And
I'll definitely check it.
I actually really enjoyed it for the most part. It just sort of falls away a little bit at the end, but I kind of enjoyed it. I watched another one called Burning Sands. It was about guys going through a hell week, and it's all about the hazing side of it. Look, it was good. It was kind of good. It was well made, and it had some interesting things to say, but it didn't really finish it. You know what I mean? It kind of just
Didn't follow
ended
through.
kind of abruptly. I get where they were going, and I know there's been a lot of talk about that, but it just didn't quite go all the way. So, but still worth a look. And then I watched a couple of docos they had on there. Generation Iron, number 2.
Yeah.
I actually liked it because it was slightly different. It wasn't your classic sort of pumping iron style, which the first one was. It was two guys fighting it out for Mr. Universe or whatever. Mm-hmm. And it was all right. And then I watched this one. It's called Voyeur.
Oh, about the bloke in the hotel?
Oh, man.
Yeah, so it was you that told me about it.
I haven't seen it.
Well, I think you
saw it
told
on
me.
there, yeah.
Someone
It's
told me
really
it existed
well
anyway.
made. It seems like it should be interesting. And then when it got to the end, I was just like, why the fuck have we got a documentary about this scumbag? Because all he was doing was peering down, and some guy wrote a book about it. I was like,
We need to be educated.
Maybe the police should look into it.
yeah. I mean, there was statute of limitations, so he couldn't get done for any of that.
Gee, that's a great rule.
Yeah.
It's been a long time, so you didn't do anything wrong anymore.
Sorry, I had one other one.
Makes total sense.
One other documentary. Again, it should have been really interesting. It was called Out of Thin Air. It was about these 4 young teens, or I guess they were in their early 20s, in Iceland or Austria, and they a couple of people were killed in the town, and the cops brought them in because they were sort of hippies and a little bit out there, and essentially talked them into, you did it, didn't you?
Yeah, right.
And they kind of, because they just laid the pressure on, and they cracked and said, we did it.
Sounds a bit like the
Making a Murderer.
Westminster
3.
Yeah.
But the thing was, there was like they were sort of saying that they were coerced, but then there was no evidence. There was no bodies. There was nothing.
Yeah.
So how could you possibly say that they definitely didn't do it?
I've got to say, there's got to be... It seems like there should be an end point to these docos about old police procedures that were basically just putting the pressure on until innocent people said... But there's not.
There's 1,000 of them.
So many cases where it's just... There's no evidence. But they need a conviction. That's it. Keep the numbers up.
Yeah. I mean, I had a really interesting idea, but it just failed. Like, by the end of it, I was just like... Again, you know, like Voyeur, I was just like, well, why am I... Why do we even have this?
Yeah.
This is a Wikipedia page. You know, that's it.
Yeah.
But that was it.
Right, all right. Well, I'll get touch on a couple. Black Lightning, I'm similar feelings. Me and Gibbo discussed it at length. I feel like it's started out strong, but now it's dipping into a little bit of the Arrow syndrome. It's like, okay, let's get our team together. And I'm like, we don't want a team. I want the fucking first few episodes where Black Lightning's in it for 5 minutes. And the most
It mixed the cultural side.
Yeah.
Music, visuals.
But now it seems to be rushing to get a team, and we've got our Felicity Smoke / Cisco / in James Remar, he's just the computer
Cisco?
expert. Yeah, well, that's what it is. I mean,
Cisco for the Flash.
Flash. Different Cisco, but it's like a version of each of them in this world.
Yeah.
And Supergirl, it's I've forgotten his name, but the actor is Jeremy Jordan. It's the same character. You are super good with computers, so you do this.
So
role.
these are all DC shows. Is that
Yeah, they're all DC shows. There's just a
Is
format.
it just a formula that just seems to just
do
they just run it into the ground?
Yeah, well, the reason it's so disappointing with Black Lightning is because the start was really strong and it was like, this is different. It's got a counterpoint.
Yeah.
It's got something different to say, but then they're rushing to get this
Or it has a
team in.
message, full stop. And
And they're rushing to get this team in, and it's like the message is being lost in this formula, and it's disappointing.
Especially when he started out not being a superhero, and now everyone's going to be a superhero.
Yeah,
It's just...
to me, the most interesting
lazy.
things were Tobias Whale, and he hasn't been in it much lately, was Lady Eve. She's gone.
Yeah.
And Lala, who's just, there's a storyline come with him where I'm like, I want to see more of that. But we're focusing on his daughters.
That's the only interesting bit at the moment is the Lala stuff.
And Gamby. Too much
Fuck
Gamby. So I also watched Joel McHale.
Yep.
Fuck me. My life is so much better for having that show back in because it's basically just the soup all over again. Did you see the clip of the week this week? Because I was laughing at it for fucking 5 minutes. It was a bloke who... I don't want to ruin it, but basically... Yeah, you got to check it out. It's to do with the tattoo, and I was in fucking stitches.
Yes.
I was in stitches. And there's another one where, I think it was in episode 2. I seriously had to stop the show because I was laughing so much that I was missing it, and it was this Afrikaans language drama. And it's got an old lady answering the phone, and because she's speaking Afrikaans, she picks it up and goes, "Hello, cunt." I had to stop it. I was laughing for 5 minutes. I had to stop the show because I'm like, I'm missing this. I can't. But yeah, that show is just the funniest. I know what you're saying about the little Netflix kind of, getting people on. A couple of them have been funny. I thought Eric Banner had a couple of giggles. Adam Devine got a couple of giggles. But yeah, that show just makes my life
is this on Netflix?
complete. Yeah. So it's basically the soup where Joel McHale used to get reality TV show clips and stuff.
Just called the Joel McHale
and
show.
rip them apart, but now it's the Joel McHale show on Netflix.
Okay.
So good.
Yeah, it's still very funny.
Which Paul Morrison, a friend of ours, he actually got off the soup. He got the guy that you pay $5 and he'll sing his birthday song if you give him a few lyrics.
Really?
Yeah, did it for Clive, and
Nice.
it was so creepy that Clive could never watch it again.
Awesome.
Mentions his kid, and he just goes, "It went sour."
Yeah, I love that show. Game Night. I checked out Game Night.
Oh, yeah.
Jason Bateman, that whole reinvention as a comedic actor, so good. Yeah, really, him and Rachel McAdam have surprisingly fantastic chemistry. I was just kind of like, I can't see the match there, but then they were really good together.
Yeah.
One scene where they're both, feeling a little bit ill and start dry reaching and stuff. Yeah, I was in stitches. Really good. Ash vs Evil Dead season 3. I've ripped through about 4 episodes. I've got to say, for a show that I really love, and I've watched as soon as the episode's on, I'm watching it. I still sit there and I go, This storyline is just fucking bullshit. And
So
it's
do you
just a
really love it, or do you think you should love
I
it?
do. No. I actually do. It's so weird because to me the stories are really, really weak. They just kind of like, oh, here we go again. The Deadites are coming back. Admittedly,
Bruce Campbell factor,
it's
mate.
the Bruce Campbell. It's the Bruce Campbell roadshow.
Yeah.
Like, it's fucking piss funny. Like, I was saying to Gibbo, the end of this week's episode, I was sitting there thinking again, where are we going with this? And then Bruce Campbell rolls in to save the day and fucks everything up, and then the lights go out, and he's saving this girl who's like from Sweden, and you hear the lights go out, and the final thing in the episode is, how do you see up shit creek in Swedish, baby? I was like, yeah, that's why I'm watching this show. That's why I love it. And it's true, I absolutely love it. It's just the Bruce Campbell roadshow, and that's why I love it. So, yeah. I went to the cinema to see Shopkins Wild. Hashtag dad life. My daughter loved it. Leave it there. Shopkins, those little toys.
I know.
I had to see the hour-long Shopkins.
They made a
Wild.
movie of that.
Are they the biggest rip-off of all
released-
time?
seriously,
They
they
look like
released
little
them.
rubber erasers of
Basically,
fucking like grocery items.
Yeah,
like
I-
fuck that.
Seriously though, mate, she has got hours of entertainment out of those fucking things, and yeah, this is the third cinema trip I've had for a Shopkins movie.
Oh,
So. Anyway, let's continue.
Pixels
on.
was bad.
Dad life.
I also went to the cinemas for Red Sparrow.
Oh, what's that like?
Yeah.
Talk to me. No, not good.
Yeah, not good.
Oh,
Yeah, I thought it would have been. I mean, yeah, just see the trailer to realise another one of these rubbish fucking,
Yeah.
you know,
Salt.
yeah, pseudo thrillers about fucking, European thrillers. It's like, come on, get rid of
The
this.
thing is, it should be alright. It's Jennifer Lawrence, Joel Edgerton, Jeremy Irons. Like the cast is rock solid. The story's alright. But the fucking thing was 2.5 hours nearly. I was sitting
That's
there.
rough.
Look, honestly, by the time the twist sort of came around,
95 minutes.
I'd
Pop.
followed it.
Ninety-five.
And I saw what was happening with the twist. But I still sat there with the bloke. I said to him, "Why the fuck are we still sitting here? Why are we still here?"
2.5 hours.
That's a slog.
So, yeah.
No way.
That sort of
Go to
movie
the-
should not be 2.5
You
hours.
need to go to the late session and get your snooze in.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, if we're watching Blade Runner and I can get half an hour's sleep and then come back into it and go,
I didn't miss anything.
looked bloody brilliant. I still don't know what happened.
She's a pregnant now.
I got back onto Gotham because I got off it for a while. I was still enjoying season 2. There's some ups and downs, but they've brought... You guys know BD Wong? The actor
Yeah,
BD
yeah.
Wong? They've brought him in as Hugo Strange. So if you know him from the comics, he's this guy with this... You know, he's got these funny glasses and a chin-strap beard. And I saw the casting and I thought, yeah, I can go with that. But now that I see him on the show, he's so over the top that it kind of brings a little bit of the old Batman show in. And it's a good thing. Like, he's just so ridiculous. I'm like, yeah, I'm really enjoying this. But they come with this angle too that he actually creates some of the other villains.
Yeah.
So...
Is it getting out of hand? Because I remember the first season of Gotham, and I think I watched the first 6 or 7 episodes, and I had all that stuff about Fish Mooney and the...
Yeah.
That stuff was gold. Like,
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that part.
Yeah,
of
so
it.
it's not so much of that, but
But I think she died or... left or whatever at the end
So
of the season.
it's more the villains. I think they realised this isn't really working as what we wanted it, so they started bringing in their own versions of the Batman villains, and I like that. I like that they did that because some of them, as I've said, some of them are great, some of them are terrible. Like Mr. Freeze, who's probably one of my favourite Batman villains. I thought he was terrible on Gotham, like the rendition they did of him. But like this rendition of Hugo Strange, very different, but I'm really enjoying it for what it is.
Is Batman
So-
still moping around in the background?
yeah, he's moping around. It's a Jim
'Cause that
Gordon show.
stuff
It's a
was
Jim
shit.
Gordon show.
I felt.
Because there's a fantastic comic called Gotham Central that's Batman without Batman. It's the Gotham PD. That's what I think they were going with, but then for some stupid reason they decided to bring Bruce Wayne into it, and for me that fucked it up. That's where they initially fucked it up.
Yeah.
The only good thing about that is Alfred. I think he's really good, but I don't care about Bruce Wayne, and the trajectory is so predictable. Because we know exactly where he's going. So I want to see Jim Gordon. I'm okay with that. But then they kind of messed that up, so now they're going with the villains. And I'm okay with Jim Gordon versus the villains. That's what's worked for me in the second one, in the second season. So, yeah, it's interesting. And, I'm going to watch it whether it's bad or not because I'm a Batman tragic, So, but from what I can see, I quite enjoy it. So, the last one I watched was Jessica Jones. I watched the whole of season 2.
How is it?
Still pretty good. Still pretty good. I think the biggest weakness of it is that it doesn't have David Tennant.
Yeah.
Like,
he was the best part of the first
so good
season.
in the first one. The woman that comes into it, I don't know whether it was just me or she looks distractingly like Jake Gyllenhaal dressed as a 50-year-old woman. I couldn't get that out of my head.
That's not what you want.
But yeah, the season's all right. Some of the characters, I really like Malcolm, another Aussie actor, Eka Darville. His arc was really cool. Didn't like Rachel Taylor so much. She became really annoying. I just wanted her to go away.
She's been annoying the whole time, I thought.
Yeah,
I didn't like her in the first season.
But Jessica Jones is still a really strong, strong character. So I think it's definitely worthwhile. A little bit of a drop.
Expected, though.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, a lot of these shows tend to be about the villain. I think it was the same with Daredevil, was that, the season 1 to 2 drop-off was the fact that we didn't have Wilson Fisk.
Man, it just went to shit when they tried to bring Elektra into it.
Yeah, Elektra was a little bit ordinary, but, the Punisher kept it afloat a little bit, so it's the same with this. The strength of the villains and that sort of stuff is
Now, did I read something the other day that they're not doing a second season of Defenders?
That was what Kristen Ritter said. Maybe,
but yet they're doing a second season of Iron Fist.
Well, they were saying it might be hard
no.
it might be hard to do Defenders somehow. But I read that as their little take on it.
Yeah.
That there was nothing concrete. That Netflix haven't said that they're not doing it. But you never know. It might be the whole Disney thing. It might be the whole Disney streaming thing.
Because I also read that Disney were going to leave those shows with Netflix.
Yeah, but I think the ones that have already been done with Netflix, I don't know. I can't see why they wouldn't try and take that Marvel TV format to themselves, because it's pretty damn popular on Netflix. So,
Why would they do Iron Fist again if they weren't going to do another Defenders, though? It was terrible.
Mulligan?
Fucking want to be
They don't want to start all
Are they going
over.
to do a recast?
Yeah, maybe.
Because fuck, he cannot act that
He
bloke.
was better in the Defenders. He was better. He had some time to practice his martial arts scene in Defenders.
No, not really, though. They just cut everything away.
It was just he wasn't the main character, so he wasn't.
It definitely helped. Less of him is more, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I remember one
was
other quick
me,
thing. I rewatched Wonder Woman because I watched Justice League.
Did ya?
How was
Didn't like
Justice
Justice
League
League.
for you?
Didn't hate it.
Hey, there we go.
No. It's so much better than Suicide Squad. It's not
Yeah.
funny.
It's got some real shit, but it's more fun.
It's a lot more fun, and like Wonder Woman as a character, like she's still the strongest part of it. I don't like Affleck at all as Batman.
They fucked him up.
I don't
he was
like
so
that.
good in
Yeah.
Batman vs Superman. There was the only great thing, and then Justice League. I'm like, what did you do?
I think it's a little bit of hint. I don't think he wants to be there either. But for all the stuff I read about Aquaman being this fucking, I didn't mind Aquaman
It was
at all.
fine.
I thought it was fine.
I thought Cyborg was fine too. People hated Cyborg, but I thought there wasn't enough of him. They just rushed him.
I liked Cyborg, and then the Flash thing with his little like twitchiness there. Like, I like that take on it. Like,
Yeah.
it's something different anyway. But I'd probably give it like a 7, 6.5, 7, something like
You're
that.
giving Zack Snyder a 7.
I don't like. No, I didn't give Zack Snyder anything.
Scourge on the movie industry in an episode.
Yeah, well, he was. He didn't finish this movie, did he?
Yeah, I know, but still, at least 50% of it's probably his.
Great.
Would that be a fair assessment?
Probably. You can also.
But I think
if you-
he had
if
to
you're
take a
fan
lot
of-
into account. I don't think if he'd have stuck with what they did with the Suicide Squad stuff, I wouldn't even have finished it, to be honest.
Yeah.
I
The
started
other
out
thing
watching
too
like,
is-
this is average, and then it just kept getting better and better, and I got sort of sucked into it.
If you watch Buffy too, or watched anything of Joss Whedon, you can kind of see too. You can kind of see his scenes.
Yeah.
The ones that he rewrote. You can see the punchy dialogue and the.
Yeah.
There's one scene in particular that with Aquaman sitting on something that I'm not going to spoil, but he sits on something and it results in something quite amusing happening. And you just look at that and you're like, that's Whedon all over.
Yeah.
And it came out afterwards. Yeah, we all picked that one was Whedon. Like you can see some of the.
But that's where the improvements are made, and that's what I was
Yeah.
going to say. Like the Whedon influence is there, and it's just enough to make it like okay. But
Yeah, I thought it was fun.
yeah, I wasn't expecting.
I
I
was
probably
heavily-
had a low bar of expectations
Yeah,
too.
I was heavily
I've seen it,
disappointed
yeah.
in certain things, but I enjoyed it for what it was. So.
Yeah.
I'll get onto it.
Okay, that's it then.
All right.
That's
Let's take a quick break.
Still awake there, mate?
Oh, man, I'm...
He's fired up.
You've watched the Netflix doc over the time that we've.
I know. Let's take a quick break. Here's the trailer to Wrong Bet.
They think they can get away with murder.
This is gasoline.
But they didn't count on one thing.
Does he have any other relatives? Anyone else that could possibly help?
You gave up your family when you joined the Legion.
I never
give up my family. He's trained to fight for his life. Now, he's fighting for revenge.
Just tell her Joshua's here with somebody I think she'd like to meet.
Sure you want to mess up that face, handsome?
They think it's a game.
Hey, I got 3-1 against Lionheart.
He's playing for keeps. But now, he's facing the ultimate challenge.
That's him, a born killer, not some bum we picked off the street.
Well, this dude's already bad. They ain't bodies.
I'll beat the guy. I have to. The rules are simple.
There's no rules.
The stakes are high.
What I did tonight, I did for my family.
You win. You live.
Now what's it gonna be?
You lose. You die.
It's going to be simple.
Van Damme is Lionheart.
All right, Wrong Bet from 1990, directed by Sheldon Lettich, who directed another Van Damme vehicle, Double Impact, which I believe you were keen to get on, weren't you?
Oh, not because it's good. But you guys did cover it with us.
We
eh?
did cover it. We did cover it
2016.
previously. Yes, we did cover
You've
it
been slugging
previously.
away, boys, for a while now.
Is there a double impact to people's testicles in that one as well?
I don't believe so.
It's got to be somewhere.
Have to be an after.
Even just an inadvertent click somewhere.
It's a stray elbow, accidental.
Has there ever been a movie that should have had a nut shot more than Double Impact?
Impact 1 and Impact 2. It's produced by Eric Carson and Ash R. Shah. Written by Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Tick.
And Sheldon Lettich. He wrote Rambo 3 and Bloodsport. And Jean-Claude gave us Kickboxer and The Quest. So,
Tick,
you know,
tick,
right in
tick,
their
tick.
wheelhouse, this sort of shit. Stars Jean-Claude Van Damme as Leon, Harrison Page as Joshua, Deborah Renard as Cynthia, and Brian Thompson as Russell. Budget was somewhere between 3 and 6 million. I couldn't get the exact. And the box office was 24 million worldwide. This film has actually got 5 different names across its territories. It's got Wrong Bet, Lionheart, AWOL, Full Contact, and Leon.
No, Leon.
Leon. Not to be
He was
mistaken
in the
for
French
that.
Foreign Legion, mate. It's Leon.
Oh,
You're saying like you got a mouthful of cheese.
true. All right, I'm gonna go first. I fucking love this movie. It's got nostalgia for me. I mean, it's not great when looking back on it, but it's got heaps of nostalgia for me. It knows exactly what it is. It's just simply a blood sport style film. The fights are pretty good. Van Damme is fantastic in the role. In the role that he was probably born to play. I'll give this 3.5.
Right.
I love it.
Oh my god. Okay, I go up and down on points for this one. So I sort of go, I'm going to give it an extra point for the fashion, and then then I'm going to give it an extra point for the extras because they're hilarious, and then I take off a whole 7 points for the plot. So, but it ends up at 2.5.
2.5. Not bad.
But I enjoyed it, and that's like not even generous. That's sort of, it was pushing a 3 for me. But yeah, I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Go to 3.
I got there.
Can you go through?
I can go for a 3.
Of course you can.
It's just it doesn't even have the nostalgia for me because this one wasn't one that I watched a lot of the Van Damme catalogue. I was hanging around things like No Retreat, No Surrender for some reason. But yeah, it's exactly what you asked for in a Van Damme film. Like, it's got no time for reality whatsoever. It's just absolute bullshit, and it's going to throw as many fights on screen as it can in that time frame. And it tries to get a little bit of acting here and there out of JCVD, which doesn't work for what they wanted it for, but it's entertaining as hell for other reasons. So yeah, I got there. 3 stars.
Ibo.
Everything.
Could you get to 3?
Fuck no. Everything that Jared liked is
Roughly
probably what I
somewhere
disliked
near
about it. Like, I'll be generous with my grade, but I'll get there in a second. So, the fact that he rammed in all these fights, there is no plot devices between the fights. At one point, there's 3 fights in a row, and it's just there's nothing in between it.
Yeah, but that's just going to bog it down.
Jean-Claude's terrible. And, like, for the nostalgia factor, actually, I had seen this movie a long time ago, but the whole intro thing I'd never seen, because I think I'd had like a dodgy VCR version recorded off TV, and it sort of came in after all the French Foreign Legion escapes. So I thought I was watching the wrong movie. I was very confused for a while. The story's fucking ridiculous. The best actor in it's the little kid, which tells you everything you need to know about everybody else.
Behind JCVD.
No. Anyway, but if I'm being very generous, I can go with a 2.
Side note, she's actually the voice of Ellie in The Last of Us.
That little girl.
Yeah, she does mostly voice work now.
Yeah, really?
So there you go.
I didn't know.
So she is.
So she's actually a brilliant actress. Because that's one of the great top 5 video game characters ever.
Yeah.
Yes.
I've got a ton of likes here, right? For starters, this movie, as I said, it knows exactly what it is. It's perfectly in the Van Damme wheelhouse, right? It fits nicely in with his early triple threat of kickboxer, Bloodsport, and Wrong Bet. It's when he knew what, and his producers and the writers knew what he was. You know, like, he's not an actor. He's not much of an actor, but he's a handy martial artist, and this was a period in time when those sorts of movies were very successful. And this one doesn't stray too far from that formula. I mean, look closely at it. It's got no plot like those other ones. It's essentially like a Bloodsport where he's sort of working his way up through.
I like that you've made that having no plot is a plus.
Yeah, but it is a plus, though. In a movie like this, it's a plus. Am I not?
Not wasting time with that.
It is a little bit, because if we had to try to develop some character, then we would have had to get rid of the Scottish guy or the wrestler-looking guy. Or, wouldn't have worked.
Well, when you mention that stuff, though, this is actually a better Street Fighter movie than the Street Fighter movie that he made later on.
Yes.
And it's got all the set-piece fights, whereas that movie's fucking terrible. We're never covering that. It's a bastardisation of what the game was supposed to be, with like having Cammy and fucking God with him. Anyway, we're getting sidetracked.
Well, wasn't Dalsim a scientist who, by the end of the movie, just had his hair burned off?
Yes.
Instead of actually like
couldn't possibly.
You know the worst part about that Street Fighter movie?
Here we go on a tangent.
Sorry.
That Street Fighter movie was written by the guy who wrote Die Hard. It's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous. He must have lost his bloody mind or something.
He took a paycheck and they said, "Here's the game." Nah, fuck it. Here's the script. He said, "Here's the script."
No, he couldn't work out how to put the cartridge in the top of the machine. He just thought, "I'll bugger this."
He had a Mega Drive cartridge, trying to put it in a SNES. But that said, there's no story whatsoever in that has anything like to do with. There's no set piece fights. There's no actual like fisticuffs at the end. You've got the bison thing.
Yeah, because isn't there all this political crap? Why are we talking about this?
Because this movie is actually what that should be. You got the pool fight, you got the street fight, you got all these like. You know, the Scottish bloke, the characters. The squash court. Like, that's not a Street Fighter fucking thing. Oh, you can, like, press the button and throw the dude through the glass. Like, like the interactive environments and stuff. It just... that part of the movie, as much as I fucking hated that part, it reminded me of what he should have done with that other movie.
Yeah, 100%. This is what that kind of thing... And he was doing that in his early phase. They were the sort of movies he was doing. He was doing these kind of, I work my way up through, all these people and I fight this big honcho at the end, and the plot is irrelevant. Yeah. And I can't act. But there's a multitude of things. And I think this is probably the best version of that, of those three pictures. Because, we covered Kickboxer, and it had its moments of pure hilarity, but it's not a great movie.
Bloodsport's got to be in the pipeline somewhere.
But
you've done Bloodsport yet?
No, got to do Bloodsport. Yeah, Bloodsport's a winner. But so and Van Damme, look, he kind of sticks to his lane with his acting as well, right? A lot of yelling, a lot of elbows, a lot of kicks. Not too much else.
A couple of one-liners. He's got some good one-liners.
Works in his favour. I
Lane's he on?
don't know. I think he's on like a small bike path. That's it. But later in his career, he started veering wildly all over the road. Okay, so this one stayed right where he needed to be, and it works.
It's funny that his comeback now is based on his acting, though.
It is.
Like the couple of really good roles are the acting performance in JCVD. He was actually really good in The Expendables as the villain.
Yeah.
Jean Villain.
Speaking
of a French accent, not names.
Then he's gone for the comedy with what was it?
Van Johnson.
Which didn't get picked up, but that's what it's based on. As I said to you, he was acting people off the screen in the Kickboxer remake, which is
but he surrounded himself with a few lesser lights.
The other guys are basically meatloafs, so he didn't have much to be. But he was the best thing of that movie by far.
And look, he always delivers in the fight scenes. We said this at Kickboxer. I don't know his actual martial arts abilities, whether he's actually really good or
no, he's legitimately like I think at the amateur level he won a bunch of shit. Like
so he could handle it, but there's a difference between being really good in the ring and being good on film because film is different. They have to do certain things.
Ask Mike Tyson.
Yeah,
not so good on film.
Some people look really good on film. Someone like Seagal doesn't. Like, that stuff doesn't translate to the screen. Van Damme does. He looks really good.
Come on, guys, I'm going to fight you with a half-hard.
This is why JCVD is a whole other level to Seagal, and Seagal's just plumbing the depths, is because one or two movies in, Seagal decided, I make all the decisions and I don't get hit, and this is what I do on film. And JCVD just rocked up to the set with his own story, but his story was, in his lane.
Here's some fights.
Here's some fights. Here's a little bit of me looking at the screen. I'll get hit a few times and then I'll, drop a line and off I go.
He understood that's what it was best for him.
Yeah,
whereas Seagal decided that, preaching about
races
environmental causes was better for him than punching people.
While we're ranting on the Seagal front, can we do away with the random, viral videos of him supposedly besting multiple other martial arts experts like they're not plants? Just stop. He dead set looks like a potato with a bandana, and these three blokes come at him and just basically pours punches so he can grab their hands and slap them in the face. It's painful and
he must be what, 60?
He's up there. 60s, I think he was one of the older ones, but it's just not plausible and it doesn't look realistic.
I can't believe it.
It's probably one of the it's worse than some of the fight scenes in his movies, and that's saying stuff.
Yeah,
well, it's a fair sized potato too. You get a few meals.
Yeah, that's a solid baked potato at Sizzler.
It's a good solid gravy pours out, so it's not good.
I feel he finally hit the nail on the head with his name. It finally fit his kind of heritage for once.
Gaultier.
Yeah, Gaultier. He's in the Foreign Legion Monday. The next month he's making handbags. So it actually fit for once because it wasn't that bloody Chance Boudreaux.
Yeah, it was.
I was wondering, did he make up the name and then come up with the nickname Lionheart, or was he like, what's a name that I can put?
It
sounds like Lion.
Definitely started with the Lion. I want to be called the Lion.
I want to be Lion.
Okay. How about Leon?
Yeah, that sounds right.
I think it was far better than just whacking together. Oh shit! We better. He's from New Orleans and his name's Chance Boudreaux. That'll cover his act.
Yeah.
He's just from the swamps. He's fine.
We don't know where he came from.
Parts unknown. Just came up on a fucking fan boat one day and just fell out.
What's your name, bud? Boudreaux.
That's the other thing. He barely speaks now. He just sort of grunts at people. It's like he's got a real bad cold.
Oh my god, can we get back to the task at hand?
Sorry.
The
old tangent.
I love a tangent too.
Going on with the name too. It's the first time I can remember that they've actually tried to have somebody related to him in the movie that sounds like him.
But then he's also
talks. Yeah. His brother gets those drugs and he goes, "But this is sugar." And I'm like, a little over the top, but at least you tried. Like you actually made some effort.
All you need to do would be better.
Points to try.
Magic. And quite frankly, this movie starts like a house on fire or a Why? Because within the first 2 minutes, his brother's been satellite thrown. He's in a hospital, buddy, on death's door
For the whole 2 minutes.
He's fought his way out of the Foreign Legion, and I think by about the 15-minute mark, he's punching blokes under a bridge.
Yeah. Well, the Foreign Legion fight was 7 minutes, the 7 minute mark, or 7.5 minutes or something.
Yeah. I mean,
It was too long.
It wasn't the best fight. It was kind of rubbish.
No, but he's hit the ground running.
Yeah, that's right. And by the time he's punching people under the bridge, you sort of know where you're at.
Yeah.
You know what you
he just walks into a city. He's like, I need some money. Oh, there's a fight.
he smells it. He goes,
who's the
getting
cuss?
punched somewhere.
But remember, he had to he had to get to the city, and how did he do that? He fought his way out of the Foreign Legion, fought his way off the boat, and then he went to the city. I need money. Fight.
On the boat, by the way, did people actually still stuff coal into the? Is that a real thing, or is that
Only when they want to be oiled up and showing off.
Is
their
that
muscles.
an 1800s thing? I don't know.
I feel like there's probably an automatic feeder shoot now where you can just go hit a button and it goes and just drops some shoot.
I mean, this was 1989.
Yeah, still would have had a feeder.
That's still in place. Yeah.
We're not talking about a steam locomotive here, Auntie.
Jean-Claude thought he was making a period piece. So he decided, look, we need to be shoveling coal.
Well, they had two options. They're like, this boat's going to rescue you. Either it can be a fishing trawler where you have to rug up in rubber overalls with ice and you're fully covered, or you could get oiled up and shovel coal into a fire and look really athletic. He's like, I take two.
If he punched Tom Hanks,
he said,
and jumped off Bubba Gump Express, that would have been amazing. That would have been amazing.
Jean-Claude said, they said, here, this is how the boat works. It's an automatic feeder that throws the coal in. And he's like, so I don't get to take my shirt off and shovel the coal in here?
I don't want to do it.
All right, Jean-Claude, we'll make that. We'll go and film with the back of a train or something just to make it happen.
I feel like too. They showed him shoveling 3 spoonfuls. I feel like by the 4th or 5th, he's going to be going, my nipples. Have you got a spacing?
The boat stopped though, and the guys are like, "Get back and shovel coal."
That guy, that is the best line in the movie. Van Damme's sort of sneaking around watching the Foreign Legion guys. Yeah. And the guy goes, "What the fuck are you doing? This isn't a pleasure cruise. Get your ass back down." And Van Damme's head just drops. Back to the board. Back to the grind. And he shovels 3 things and he goes, wipes his brow. He's absolutely rashed it.
What's the line?
Excuse me.
What's the line when he's about to jump off the boat just before that?
Something about
the guy gives him a serve and he says, "You don't have papers, don't have a green card or whatever." He's like, "Now what's it gonna be?" And he goes, "It's going to be simple."
Fucking belts him.
Oh mate, sick burn. Don't even hit me. I'm done.
Yeah, got him.
Put a fork in me. I'm done.
That sums up the script. It's going to be simple. Punch. That's what we get for 2 hours.
Was that plot device? How did I hit him?
Look, this script was the treatment was on a scrap of paper. They were down at the bar one night having a couple of beers.
3 poo
Next thing you know, Van Damme comes out of the toilet with some poo tickets going, I just jotted down a few ideas for a new movie.
Shoe.
It was pictures, mate. He had one picture. It's a jeep. This one's a boat. This one's a big fist. Sounds great.
Escape. Fight.
And they're like, look, I've drawn some storyboards. And they're looking at him going, what?
These are poo tickets.
What's this one here? It's a bridge. Oh, okay. That's great. What's under there? Fight.
Squash court. What? Another place to fight. Later on in film.
Okay.
Empty pool.
That was genius. Who comes up with that?
You mentioned his fashion?
Yeah.
Mate, there's a sequence where he's walking down the street. It's a kind of a long shot. It's him and Joshua. And he walks with that kind of bow-legged style. Yeah. And he's wearing, dark blue pants, high waist.
Oh, man.
Light blue
he loves his high waist.
They're higher than the ref's pants at Basketball Canberra.
They're way up.
And on a honestly, he looks like Popeye with a nasty case of hungry bum. He is eating those straws. His ass is just eating them. Like, they're all fucking here.
It's like he thinks he's one of the extras from the Dancing in the Rain film clip. Like, he should be swinging off a light post with an umbrella or something. It's like he thinks he's extra sharp with his pants up higher.
But it gets better, though. Because when it comes to him trying on suits, he looks like he should have been working out for Colour Me Bad. He's got all these weird-looking coloured suits on. And
Bad reference. That's
black
a deep
vest,
dive.
red shirt.
Yeah, he looks like an idiot. But it is magic because it's 89 into the 90s, wasteland of fashion.
Oh.
Like,
I like that shoulder pads.
The
That's what
90s
you need.
didn't know what it was doing. It just did not know.
There's just
Shoulder
a collision
pads.
of all the shit fashions.
Mullets,
all shit
mohawks,
trends just like bang.
leather jackets.
Yeah, that's where you had Kappa gear and bloody, what was that other stuff? Stussy.
Slouch jeans.
Slouch jeans.
Button up fucking Adidas pants. the tear offs. Apparently they're making a comeback. I don't see it. Someone told me that. I find it hard.
None of that stuff's making a comeback.
No.
Come on.
What about Cooter Lines jumpers?
Yeah, I have one of those.
Giant billabong jackets.
Yes.
I had all of that, I'm sure.
I just remember going, I've got to go to this party, you've got to get done up, button up pants. These are my going out pants. Best track.
Easy access.
I'll put on my Converse basketball shoes and my button up pants.
Those pants were super flammable too, so you didn't want to go near a
You were
bonfire
walking out the
airport.
door with those button-up pants on going, I am irresistible.
Yeah, I haven't even bothered to put on some Hugo Boss, cologne. I don't need it. I've got button-up shorts.
100%. And a t-shirt. And you get there and you're like, good news, ladies, easy access. Just line up. Off they come.
Christ. Ah.
That scene is awkward though. The whole looking out. She's like in the change room with him.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, what's all that about?
And then there's
The suit montage is bad, but
weird sales assistant's like, everything alright in there?
Are you guys definitely burning?
Yeah, but that also plays into her whole cat and mouse.
Is it cat and mouse or is it just she's bipolar? Because
I think
I didn't get much cat and mouse.
it's like, so we're bowling. Don't you ever talk to me again. So we're going to bowl? Yeah, sure.
What's that? You want to keep things professional? Start throwing glass against the wall.
Yeah, that was great.
Purely business relationship.
Yeah.
Cunnilingus? Very
What was the
confused
line?
lady.
She said something like, what did she say? Oh, it's strictly business from now on or whatever.
And it should have been from the
it should have been from the start. If you can, like, keep
was.
on. He was
Look
really,
at his face, he's like, wait, did I miss something?
he was really pushing for business.
Now, hang on a second.
And then she's like, and you're paying for these clothes.
You're gonna do stuff like, now you're paying for this shit.
I'd have looked at him and gone, I am not paying for this.
This is a monkey suit.
I've got button up trackies at home. I don't need this shit.
Yeah, I'm pulling back on my bloody Popeye gear and just fucking leaving.
He wakes up though, and he's like, "Where's my clothes?" She's like, "I burnt them." Like, what the fuck? She's a psycho. And then she's like, "Come on, get out of that bed. Get out of that bed.
I know you're not wearing any underwear.
You naked bastard."
No, we'll stand in the window,
I watched you sleeping. He wakes up to the sound of her doing lat pull downs
In his
opposite
room,
the bed.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Hey, guess what? I'm musky. Let's go.
And it's just yeah.
Have you been working out for an hour, Brett? You want to have sex now?
He must have been in a deep sleep and she got the bloke with the big jaw. I said, quickly, slide this on over here so I can do some... Quick, he's waking up. Ooh, lat pull down.
How can I seduce him?
I don't know if you heard, I did over 1,000.
I look like a butterfly.
It's
a big
999. 1,000. Yeah, let's face it. John Claude is not. He is having sex with her. Like,
Mate, he's been in the Foreign Legion.
Sorry, I got a morning glory. You want to
The
sort me out?
last thing he rooted was a hole in the ground.
Not only that, is it just me, or when he's in the bar getting sozzled, does the old duck who's like, you know, she looks...
Oh, yeah, she wants a crack.
Yeah, she looks at him and gives him a wink, and he kind of looks at himself and thinks, maybe. You know
doesn't say anything, but you look on his face, it's just like...
That's what you look at. I've 3 beers, and I'll be with you.
Maybe I'll give you a go. I won't give the good woman the good-looking bird who's doing lap pull dance in my room, but I'll give you a shot.
Yeah.
I couldn't... Yeah,
Just take your teeth out first.
That was so out of place, because he's looking at that, I'm thinking, Jesus. Then he goes back to the lady... The sweet young lady. He goes over with the lady, and he's all sanctimonious. You know, where's my pants?
This is insulting to you.
Mate, you walked in last night and your bum finally ate the whole thing. It's just your pants disappeared right up there. That's what happened to him.
Yeah, it just finished eating.
It's very like Mrs. Vanderest. It's just I'm French, doesn't mean I'm born you.
I believe he strolls out, gives us an arse shot, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, yes. He stands in the window. He's like trying to find his clothes, and he's just like got the clenched arse cheek. Like everyone's got an arse, right?
Yeah,
Everyone knows
what
what your arse cheeks look like when you're not clenching.
Yeah.
His have the big indent on the side. He's like hard as a rock.
Yeah, he
invented it.
He asked if he could drop the towel.
They shot it. They shot it and said, if it's good, we'll keep it.
Again, makes perfect sense when he's trying to turn the lady off. And he's like, here's my ass. We're
going to drop the towel and bend over with the full moon.
Yeah, that's why they turn her off. Have a look at this.
Get that tattooed on your belly button.
Look, all the fights have some super awesome slow-mo bits. The one under the bridge, we get a guy getting hit in the face, and we get wobble, his whole mouth wobbles around. Then it gets ended with he leaps in the air and fucking knees him in the kidneys.
Yeah, didn't he do? Because remember when the guy gets sort of thrown out of the circle and he comes charging back? Yeah. I'm quite sure that's a. Van Damme does a leaping kick fair to the plums. I think he gets another one.
That's rough.
All right, let's unpack that. Let's unpack that whole thing.
Get the elephant in the room.
Look, I'm gonna put it as a like, but I've also got a dislike. The amount of sack punching in this movie is ridiculous. Outrageous. Yeah. Everybody gets hit in the nuts.
But it's a varied sort of, everyone gets hit in the nuts differently.
Yeah, that's right.
One gets kicked.
One guy gets hit in the nuts, then he gets a big elbow to finish him off.
Yeah. The other one just gets the sack punch, and that's the entire fight.
Yeah. It's just, I mean... There's just it's more than Total Recall, and or They Live, when Roddy Piper's getting his nuts stood on. Other than that, this movie has more sack punching and knows what to do with, and you could in the underground fight game. There'd be tons of sack tampering, to avoid. This is real ball tampering, not like the cricketers were up to.
Yeah, they didn't just have a little bit of sand.
This is you remove one testicle to avoid getting absolutely punished.
Yeah, didn't we say this is where UFC's gone wrong? Like, sack punching.
That's like your secret movie. You won a match.
Yeah. So we could have in the intros. Oh, look, this guy's chin's hard as a rock, but his sack is suspect. So that's where they might find a weakness.
I find that odd that in any movie when you can get hit in the nuts and still keep standing. I don't know how that happens anywhere. But
the only realistic one was old mate where he dropped and just one punch and then he's just and that's it. He gets carted off. That's exactly what's going to happen.
That's the reality, right?
As I was saying to the lads before, I got in a game of football. I got a nut grazed by a loose hand. Yeah, and I folded like a fucking dead.
It climbs up into your stomach and you hit the ground.
I went down so quick and decided not to continue.
Yeah, Eddie Murphy comes on. I don't know if he's in Raw or Delirious, but he talks about grazed nuts. This bird's having a go about nuts aren't that painful. He's like, all you got to do is graze nuts, and he just nails exactly. Or you just imagine someone just going past and flicking it by just that little bit. And it just drops you.
That's it.
It's worse than childbirth. It's been documented.
Your gag reflex comes into play.
Yeah.
You don't go...
you start feeling naughty.
Like you're going to yak. After it happens.
You're all of a sudden really hungry but full at the same time.
And you kind of sit there and you think, do I have a headache? I've got a headache. No, I don't have a headache.
I have a stomach ache. I'm in my lower back. I'll give you a heat pack. Some ice
I ran the emotional gamut on the sack punching because I was super angry when that guy who's dressed in the leather, looks like something out of Village People, pounds that guy's ball bag with his fight. I was fucking going, you bastard! You don't do that.
Yeah, that's wrong.
And then 2 seconds later, Van Damme gives him a good solid one right in the crackers. I leapt out of the seat.
That's a revenge. It's a revenge.
Get that in here.
That's the right kind of ball tampering.
Oh.
So in the mixed martial arts fighting you were talking about, someone going down by a nut shot, would that be a knockout, a TKO, or a submission?
That's a submission.
That's a TKO, testicle knockout.
It might be all three though, because it's a knockout, a TKO, and a submission. Because you're just submitting. You're not actually out. You're just like, I can't go on.
Yeah, that's a grand slam.
Fortunately, it's a disqualification.
In the MMA, they punch you while you're on the ground, so I think it's more TKO.
I'm alright with someone getting punched in the face until they can't stand anymore, but just leave the testicles.
Imagine the MMA style ground pound on the sack, though. That's pretty much what Roddy Piper got, wasn't it?
That's what the first bloke did under the bridge. He's had all mate's leg out and he's just...
At least they didn't use it like a speed bag. Just have
him stand in front of him, put it up.
Got that work over. As I said, you got your tamperers who are removing that and sort of say, look, I've only got one that can take the punishment. Van Damme thought it might be best to add a third as protection, as a protective coating.
It's my shit. Fuck, we've gone down the rabbit hole today.
I'm just picturing him reshooting Total Recall with 3 testicles instead of 3 dudes.
Yeah, she goes, and he goes, what's this?
I'll pop a triple jazz.
Oh, man.
What movie are we talking about? I'm confused.
I think we're talking about Lionheart. Sorry, wrong bet. One of those.
No, Leon.
Leon, that's right.
AWOL? I'm confused.
I actually like Joshua. He's offsider.
Yeah, he was pretty good.
He's actually surprisingly
He walks
not
the line
annoying.
of being an annoying
He's
fucker,
kind of on the
right
edge,
side
but
of
he's probably all right.
He's one of the least annoying.
Probably
that
because
type of character.
I think that they end up using him for that whole, the insurance scam and all that. And that's kind of the only time you see him in between blues. Like, that's really...
Oh, he's hanging around a lot.
He's hanging around, but he's not doing anything.
Let me buy you a sandwich. He just says, hey. It's Bernie Mac, I swear. hey. Doesn't he waves down a car?
Yeah, he's
Like Bernie Mac from the first Transformers movie.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
I liked him.
But I thought he was kind of funny.
Silver Tooth Devil.
Especially when he takes the money from Van Damme. He wins his first fight in Van Damme. He gives Van Damme a small amount of cash and Van Damme takes the big one. And he goes, you may be able to fight, but you can't count worth of shit.
Yeah, see, that sort of stuff was good. It made him more endearing than obviously fucking piss off.
And
then they took a little bit of Rocky, like clear cut sort of taking the Mickey character towards the end.
Yes.
He does exactly the same things like before the fight, during the fight.
Yes.
Hang on, Jared. Are you saying this is derivative?
Oh, well, I don't want to
Thank you
go
to keep that to yourself.
Surely not.
Mostly original ideas in here, thanks.
Well, the original sketch.
There is I had to laugh though at Van Damme after punching everybody he's run into for the first 40 minutes. He gets in the car with Joshua at one point and says, you're wasting your time if you think I'll fight again. Really? You have to hit everybody. Like, anybody's come in your sphere, you fucking belt them.
We're looking at the runtime going, I'll give you 6 minutes.
Maximum 6 minutes.
That skinny ponytail bloke calls him a little bitch, and he's like, I'm going to fight you.
Yeah, he just can't help himself, so I found that rather ironic.
Well, speaking of things he said that didn't make sense, when he first meets the lady, and she goes, what's your name? Leon. You're French. What's the difference? I'm like,
Because it's from France.
They need to be standoffish about it. Question, mate. We need it so when we make the Street Fighter game, we can put the French flag on your little,
Let's not start fighting over it. Come on, just relax.
But also that response just proves that he's French, so it kind of answers the question.
Quickly, are we French then? No worries, got it.
But I did. It's in my likes because again, I just heard it and burst out laughing. No reason.
I'm a huge fan of the pool fight. They both turn up in Leo's leotard with a deep U, and I don't know what that guy, where that guy comes from. He just
he just
bolts into the pool and just immediately
out of the jungle. It's like he's like a Tarzan knockoff. And I think there's like a faux like growl, like cat's growl sound when he jumps out of the bushes.
He comes out of the bushes and he stops at the edge and goes, huh! Before he jumps in. And then it's kind of, he's doing capoeira or something. It's a bit all over the place, that one. But it was good that they synchronised their uniforms for the fight.
I thought we talked about this.
Well,
I told you I was covered in this.
While we're talking about uniforms, there's an important thing to mention.
There he is.
Prior to that fight, there's a panning shot of the crowd next to the pool, and there's a couple of blokes there that are supposed to be there. They're well built. They're wearing little shorts and stuff. They look the part. And then there's a bloke in red budgie smugglers who dead set. Someone must have dragged him out of the crowd. So we need another person in budgies, mate. And he's standing there like someone that's just been dacked in front of the whole school. He's standing in front of his jats and he's all fucking cooled over.
He's got full shielded over the front.
But he's even like side on. He's like looking all like demure and shit. It looks so funny. If you're gonna watch any scene from this movie, it's that.
Do you reckon that the director's going, turn your sack towards us? And he's like, no, I can't do it. Please.
Look at this bloke's sack. It's too big. I'll stay
with the bloke next to him in the bloody pink banana Alex is just sitting there flaunting everything he's got.
I didn't even get my bikini line waxed.
The guy in the red's there going, I'm the director of photography. What am I doing here?
The extras throughout the whole movie are great. There's a scene in a bar where there's a dude playing pinball in the back and he's playing one-handed and drinking a beer at the same time. It's just throughout the whole thing.
Living on the edge, mate.
Yeah, like even in the car park, there's like you've got like old Asian blokes betting, and young women. They're like, we want blood, and they're just like so into it.
Yeah, they know their parts.
But you made the comment that it's sort of like it is like Street Fighter, like a game where it's just people doing repeated actions throughout for minutes at a time,
and a number of different
venues,
different venues, different varieties of people doing strange
different
things.
varieties of perms.
Speaking of extras, some dude rolls out a nice pair of roller skates down in in the underground car park.
Yeah, that whole underground car park is super weird. He's taking orders for like drinks or something.
Yeah, it's like he's one of those roller drive-ins.
Yeah, but I noticed before that too. They got the two security guards with those torch kind of cone looking things to direct people. And the first car that rolls in, they get the torch. They look in the window, they get the torch out and point straight. And the car, no word of a lie, rolls about 5 metres forward and just stops. You don't need the torches for that, fellas. You could have walked me there. There's no need for that. But then, as you said, old mate with the roller skates comes in.
He just comes rolling out. I thought Xanadu would sort of let out.
I was thinking a bit of that, and then it looked like there might have been smoke and stuff around. So I'm thinking Russell Mulcahy, and then all of a sudden, out of the car pops the Highlander himself. Anyway, he's bloody the guy comes out in the kilt, and that was a very odd scene, but strangely satisfying as well.
Jesus Christ.
That was a pretty good fight. Throwing each other through windscreen and stuff. And then they both leap up onto the bonnet for no reason. They both jump onto a car bonnet each after they've both been sort of thrown onto the cars. Instead of getting, sturdy footy, they both leap onto the bonnet.
If you were the unlucky bastard that decided to park in the ring of cars that gets completely slammed.
I can see headlights.
Great seats.
Is it really worth it?
The regrets are setting in.
Look,
I won the bet.
You signed a waiver, mate. Your car, that's it. That's all that's happening. Knowing Van Dam, one guy would have probably leapt up on the bonnet of a long sort of, BMW or something, so he had some stable footy. Van Dam leaps up on a VW or something. He goes arse over tin.
The conversation with the panel beater. The conversation with the panel beater would have been like, "What happened here? Scotsman's testicles."
That's a hefty ball bag.
It did remind me of the Highlander scene, but the only reason you knew it wasn't from the Highlander was there was nowhere near enough sparks.
Things
we could have done with more of that.
More Queen. We needed more Queen.
We need Queen to come in.
Queen makes
Russell
any movie
Mulcahy would have been, the whole place would have been shrouded in mist and no one would have been able to see each
Yeah,
other.
the lady definitely missed a chance by not, getting the Highlanders into her fighting ring.
She approached Conor McLeod. He said, "I'm too busy. I can't get involved in that shit."
Yeah, she spoke to him and said, "Look, we won't be able to understand either him or Leon, so we can't do any sort of work for this fight. We can't do any hype work because no one understands what we're saying."
Yeah, you're organised a press conference for these two blokes.
Christopher Lambert's probably over there going, actually, we're too good actors for this movie. And you're like, hey, you can't even speak.
I'm a massive fan of Attila, the last guy. He is just your bog standard, non-talking idiot villain, like big, muscly sort of bloke. But he also works in sack stretching.
Yeah, that goose tear. When you're getting intel, and the main bit of evidence that you've got that he's a sick fighter is that he's going to tear your gooch open with a leg splits.
Oh, thank you to go with the alliteration. That was a taint tear.
Taint. Fair enough.
It rolled off the tongue a bit, though. As a taint tear should.
That move is completely useless against Van Damme. He'll stretch beyond any taint tear limits.
When you've got 3 testicles, like, you've got extra room, extra sort of stuff holding you in.
What's with all the,
But where did
this
you
movie
get
is
from?
anti-sack for some reason. It's just, everyone's getting treatment. One bloke's getting kicked. We got punches. Then we got tears. Like,
is there any evidence that the writer of this film is a feminist?
The whole movie's interested in sack trauma.
JCVD, definite feminist. He's always thinking about the ladies. I must put my ass in 2 more shots. Ladies want it.
If there's some extra layer of subtext that I didn't pick up, that's about the feminist movement. I really want someone to get on that and hit me up with some cliff notes.
You watched it through the wrong lens.
It's a modern storytelling of basically have a man is an overbearing prick. Because the entire movie's about ripping your sack off or tearing your taint in half. Or I mean, honestly, where are we getting this intel of a bloke ripping another bloke in half?
Don't they toy with his victims?
I don't know about you. Even if I'm running an underground fight ring, I'm going, this guy's not for us, mate.
Sorry, this is too gruesome.
This isn't our sort of
It's
bag.
also like
we don't want to kill people.
You're getting underground fights with some of the best camera work that we've got available because the cameraman manages to sneak in a close up that's framed by the 2 legs while he's ripping the.
It's almost like he did it for the camera.
Yeah. But this isn't just fight film. This bloke's got a close up.
It's so good.
Definitely a pervert.
The only thing is there's a little bit of damage to the tape early on, but then it's just expert.
There's a couple of little jumps and a little bit of fuzz, and we're right.
I was expecting Darryl Eastlake to bust in with, he's gone for the tape tear. It's all over.
Someone get the sticky tape.
I wonder what they taped over to get that footage of Attila.
There's an episode of Cheers and there's something. Like ripping tape. Whoever's watching it goes, Jesus.
That was my favourite episode.
I thought I clicked the little button so you could tape over this. Alright, we've definitely lost it again.
Okay, the final fight is actually pretty good. It's classic Van Damme, plenty of slow-mo, heaps of yelling, getting his fucking pounded for about 10 minutes, and then he suddenly comes good. After he's been... I mean, look, honestly,
the broken rib.
He started out actually giving Attila... Because I think he blood his nose before anything else. And then Attila gets hits him there, and then he does the finger, and starts keeps going for the...
Yeah, I mean, the other for the previous fight, he hit the bloke up under the taint and went, weakest fist.
But he looked at Van Damme's pants and said, that lunch has been well cut, and he's still standing, so I need to find another angle here.
Not like that, I bloke with a glass sack.
Self-inflicted atomic wedgie.
I could rip at those jeans all day and not going anywhere.
It's sad there wasn't even an attempt to rip his gooch off.
There should have at least been some kind of effort made.
That should have been his secret move. That old mate goes for it and he's like, I prepared for this. And he just does this and just punches him in the face.
Spins around and headbutts him.
No, I think what would have been really satisfying is Van Damme tears his own gooch in
His own gooch.
No, the other
other
way, he sort of turns his key move against him, you know.
He's a big man who does the goose down and it's like a bowling bag. A couple of bowling balls drop out.
Jesus.
We're basically riding Hot Shots 3.
Yeah, but I loved it. I loved the last fight.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
it was super, you know, ripped off from Rocky and all that kind of stuff.
Joshua does a bit of the
Blofeld with the cat.
Yeah.
That's right, but that's Attila's cat. What's going on there?
He's a cat man. He's got artsy interests. He's very cultured.
Oh my god.
I liked, again, some of it was laugh value, but when he looks up and does the wrong bet and then keeps going, that actually got me. I was like, yeah, come on, JC.
They definitely named it wrong bet after that scene for sure.
Yeah, well, that's what I was thinking. Did they shoot multiple sort of, you know, he looks up at one and goes, he looks up at one and goes, Leon. And then Joshua goes, yeah, he's fucked. He's just saying his own name in the middle of the fight. Throw the towel.
It's either they're going to call it wrong bet or they're going to call it, it's going to be simpler. Let's go wrong bet.
I think that didn't work.
Looked up, you're about to go AWOL.
Cut. That's not working.
Yeah, we better change the title, fellas.
Any other likes?
I can't believe we've gone this long.
I cannot believe
Yeah,
it.
There haven't been there many likes. We're just talking so much shit.
Brian Thompson's jaw.
I love Brian Thompson. He's very intimidating.
Huge. His face is just, yeah. But it was also... I
He
think
looks
we
like a
mentioned
toaster. It's just square. It's just... like he's got that perfect look for a good
transformer.
henchman.
I think he would have made a good like Terminator, like another like a T900 or something like that.
Yeah. He's a T5.
Well, he made a pretty good cult leader in Combo.
Yeah, you need to like take a few axes together. And
He was an alien in X-Files too.
I mean, he's got that that look is so unique. I mean, he played two different monsters in Buffy, I think, because they saw his face and said, fuck, that looks great, but we killed him off, we better write another monster so we can use
Most
it
people
again.
have plastic surgery to fix that stuff, so he's just the one that was like happy to go along with it in his life and get a couple of roles out of it. So good on him.
But you know what?
Played it.
I would like to see him involved in the Biffos though.
Yeah.
He's kind of a henchman, but he's just kind of doing nothing.
He had a very
he just gets
limited-
kicked in the head
He was just, you know, his whole role in the film was basically that scene to follow him and find out, you got some shit going on, and make that connection.
John Lovitz could have played the same character and done just
Tom
as effective
Arnold.
role.
Tom Arnold could probably have done a lot with it. He probably could have given it a more nuanced performance, but Tom Arnold could have given you the same.
So Tom Arnold was from
True Lies?
True Lies. Who was the one in Eraser?
Oh, I hate that movie. He was from...
I don't remember.
Oh, he was in...
It was another really shit sidekick.
Yeah, he was from a TV show. I can't remember who he was.
It wasn't good.
It wasn't Sopranos, maybe?
I don't know.
I thought it was like a bit of a name thing. I can't remember what it was.
The movie sucked.
But it was the same
That
character.
movie,
Like just that
stay tuned. We have to watch that again, but it's garbage.
Why do you... No.
Because we need to look at the rise and fall of Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's the
You brought it
problem.
up. You should know that if you bring it up, we're going to go, oh, we should watch that.
Oh, that's right. Gibbo said this movie shit.
No, but
Let's do it.
I don't think... Is it on Netflix? It's got to be on
No,
Netflix.
it's
I'm
not.
not paying for it.
But we've got Stan as well, so we can plumb the depth.
It's not in Stan either.
You've checked, and that's the
I
thing.
think it is on Stan, but it's not on Stan.
We'll find it. Check it out.
Jerks.
I'm not paying for it.
Bloodsport
YouTube.
first.
Oh, definitely Bloodsport, yeah. Any other likes?
No.
I think you already mentioned the pool costumes, but we didn't actually. It's got to be a nod to his costume in the background of Breakdance too, doesn't it?
Electric Boogaloo.
Electric Boogaloo. It's got to be,
Yeah.
because every time like that, you know, it's a very distinctive look.
He always squeezes in a leotard. He gets him in there.
But that one
But
looks
again,
like
they're
exact
perfect
same.
for what he wants. That high nad, that high testicle sort of look.
Because he hasn't just pulled one of his. He's got the bit where he's like
look.
tucked it up the side of his cock and balls.
He's
Got
definitely-
like full cod piece in there.
He's definitely a fan of the pressed plum sort of look. He's really going to get things right.
You know what reminded me straight away of Ben Stiller's character in fucking Dodgeball? When he punches it, he like puts the thing in and goes, punches it, like pumps it up, he goes, we should date.
The only reason you don't wear that outfit is just to be a massive fuckwit.
It's a mixture of, ballet and Borat. He's right.
It is a little bit of mankini.
Yeah, it's got a little bit of mankini about it.
There was also 2 contenders for another edition of the Thrill Me soundtrack. There was some classic sort of 80s cock rock when he's in the change rooms, and then also the final fight. There's one too.
Yes.
The music sounded very much like Robert Tepper style.
Oh,
I could have done with a film clip in an abandoned warehouse. Chain.
Well, there's no easy way out.
No easy way out.
There is, Robert. It's just a bit of just push a few things aside, mate. You can get out of there.
Probably take off that giant coat.
Yeah, that's right.
And iron your pants less. So you walk.
The music was a bit weird.
The music
the whole thing. It begins off. It's like that street jazz saxophone while he's doing the drug deals. Like, what is going on?
Some of those movies where the score and the soundtrack doesn't actually match what's happening on screen all the time.
Yeah.
It's like, this doesn't.
Go back and watch the underground fight again to see the blokes directing cars 5 metres in front of them and things like that. But there's the soundtrack there. There's kind of it sounds like a little bit of sort of synth kind of. Underground car park fights, a bit of dark tone, and then the guy steps out of the car and it goes to the bagpipes. Man. Fucking ridiculous.
Oh, cultural awareness.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, well done, fellas. Picked up on it beautifully. Any more?
God, no. Come on.
I'm done. I've had a good time.
You done?
Yeah.
Ready? All right. The dislikes. We talked about it. The plot, super slim. Not much there. I mean, it basically exists wholly and solely to move from fight to fight.
Yeah,
and in fact,
it doesn't even exist there.
And in fact, the movie slows to a point where I think it's after about half an hour or 40 minutes. There's a 25-minute sequence. There's no fights, and all he's learning to do is he's trying on stupid-looking suits, learning how to open a bank account, and going past his brothers.
Yeah, stalking his brother's
And it's like,
widow.
What are we doing, Jean-Claude? This is not you. This is not you.
Does that include the... it was 2 of my dislikes rolled in one, but I think it was during that section that to illustrate the kind of bad part of town that they live in, they're walking to school and across the gate from the schoolyard is a collection of police aiming guns at a street gang that they've got hands in the air.
But they're like early teens at best.
Yeah, they're just standing there like, just kind of not actually doing anything. Everyone's just sort of stationary. Like
They've got these weird plot devices throughout the whole thing to make him look like he's a bit better. When he's walking through the park. You brought this one up before, but he finds the ball rolls to him, and they're like the dirtiest little homeless. Comes over, with the dirtiest looking mum. He gives him 100. They snatch it and sort of run away.
That family belongs in the bloody Christmas Carol or something. That's how he rumble out of the dark.
That's how he meets people. He catches the ball going down the stairs to meet his niece.
He hands over his money and he's just thinking, it's just another fate to me.
That little kid reminded me of the feral kid from one of the earlier Mad Max movies.
Let me tell you something.
It's just a bit too feral.
If I'm having my bloody nutsack squashed for $100, I'm not giving it to somebody.
I need reconstructive surgery with that fucking thing. That's going back in my pocket.
This whole movie is like the least glamorous version of the American Dream that I've ever seen.
It was his kind of messed up, because obviously he hadn't spent his whole life there. It's just this twisted view on it. He's put together in the script.
This is what America is to me.
And then there is a gang with police, and I run into dirty people. I give them money.
He's like, let me out of the car, let me out of the car. And then he's in hell. He can't even use the phone without 4 weird looking. They look like the cameo film clip word up.
It was everything bar the cod piece. That was all it was missing.
That's all it was missing. But those little leather clad guys.
You're right. They should have said, JC, Hell's Kitchen isn't actually hell, mate. There are some bad parts.
They were definitely going to go see Daredevil for some law work in the morning, for sure.
Yeah. He doesn't understand where... He doesn't really understand America, I don't think.
It's just, it's just a slice of American pie, this thing.
Yeah, he's a little bit off base with some of that. Now, look...
This is
Or is he? I got pistol whipped.
Open to interpretation, yes.
Good old Washington.
JCVD is still ironing out the kinks in his acting. skills.
I thought you were going to say his pants.
Jesus Christ, that's a very friendly summation of his ability.
He's ironing
out the kicks.
He's ironing out the kicks. Because
More like a
there's a
screwed up
sequence where
ball
he walks into his brother's wife's place, and he says, "The people who did this, did they catch them?" And I'm like, wow. No. I mean, any director when
Is that when he's in the hospital crying?
Yeah.
That's the worst crying I've ever seen in my life.
He's not giving anything nuanced. Okay,
No.
He's never been a great actor, and when I say he was on out the kinks, his acting later was still like, I just shared 500 times, but it looked like he'd slept in it still.
But that did they catch them? That was probably like the 50th line read there.
Yeah.
It's just on fuck. Just can it. That's the best we're gonna do.
Yeah, he's looked at the producer and gone, "Can we actually cut that out?"
He's like,
"No, we can't. It's integral to the plot.
If we don't take that one, we're not going home tonight. So just fucking
take 45.
The hospital in general cracked me up. There were a few good moments. His brother who's like meant to be like semi-lucid. He's just been burnt alive, and he's just like listening into the conversation about who can help him. And he's like, Leon.
Don't worry about him. He's been saying that.
He didn't have enough energy to give the police details about who did it to him, but he can yell out Leon's name. And then the other one was what's his face, the sidekick, his manager.
Oh, yeah.
He's like he's waiting for him outside the hospital, and there's this girl walking out. He's just like hollering at her.
That's right. Yeah.
Hey.
That's totally legit.
He never stops.
Like he's a pest, whereas Van Damme's a professional character who does not sleep with people who are flirting with him non-stop.
Nothing outside of wedlock. Thanks very much for JCVD. While we're talking about his burned brother, though, and I know we're on dislikes now, so this is good. When they do the Burning Man sequence, the first shot they do it when he's fully on fire, he's clearly wearing a beanie. I get you got to protect the person on fire, but you've got to try and find a way to edit that out. Even just show like the lower part of his body.
Even just don't show him catching. You show him catching fire and then leave it.
Yeah.
Because he runs around. He runs around.
The beanie's not even trying to be blend into his face. It's got the folded up bit, so it's got this big thick band, like a fucking headband around his head.
Again, the director's gone, should we cut that? The editor's gone, should we cut that out?
Well, he's not going to do it
again. Let JCVD get away with murder. We'll just leave that in.
We can't light Steve on fire twice. He did the best he could.
Alright, so my big dislike is the sister-in-law, because she's just unreasonably, as with all the women in this movie, just unreasonably angry at him coming and trying to help out the situation. She's about to be kicked out with the daughter, and she's just like, "Get out! I don't want your filthy money."
Yeah.
It's like, you swear he was a goddamn gigolo or something. He doesn't want to touch his tainted money.
He didn't do anything wrong that I can figure. Her husband was a drug addict, and she blames the brother that was in the French Foreign Legion.
She got angry at him because he got him out of jail.
Jail time or something.
He got him off jail time.
Took the one for the team.
Yeah, that wasn't fleshed out.
If you didn't take one for the team, he would have been in jail. He never would have been lit on fire. Yeah, no, that whole thing was ridiculous.
And then there's like a weird sexual tension between them as well.
And it was like, is he gonna or is he? And he's never really interested, and she's kind of interested, but she's trying to be angry unnecessarily.
For some reason, as I said, Jean-Claude's not interested in anything. Any of the women that throw themselves out.
Not interested in fighting.
Oh, yeah, he says he's not interested in fighting.
Well, maybe
but as soon as someone throws him a leotards and getting the pool, he's pretty straight into it.
Maybe he's actually like a Ken doll. He's like asexual. He doesn't actually have genitalia. That's why no one goes a nut punch on him.
Yes. Until it did his research when the guy's got.
He was grown in a lab as a flying machine.
His sack is bloody. It is clean. There's nothing in there. There's no.
He's just got a well-shaven mound. That's it.
It's funny because the characterisation isn't that far from Universal Soldier. You can imagine after a fight just going into his van and sitting in his chair and cooling off.
Getting in a bloody bathtub full of ice while everyone else cools off properly.
That's right.
Everyone else just stands in front of a fan fully clothed. He's like, I need to be nude and that would be nice.
To me, I could have done without the Foreign Legion subplot. I mean, I don't think it would have been a stretch to do a quick rewrite and just excise all that shit.
Yeah, fair enough.
It kind of added. I mean, it's it absolutely did. It's a really straightforward way, but if you don't have something like that, then what's the point of him having to? Like, he actually thought very quickly about why do I have to fight and I can't just go and fucking work at Macca's.
But I thought he had to fight to help prop up help her out.
Yeah, but he can't get a job. He can't give him money any other way. Because
But he couldn't get a job anyway because he's a illegal immigrant. So it doesn't
that's
really
why
matter.
though.
He gets
But
swung
that's
off a
it.
mop like all the rest of them do.
He got off the. He had to sort of run from the Foreign Legion. Couldn't get any papers to say I'm visiting the country or
It has to be a quick escape.
Yeah, he had to have some sort of something, chasing it.
I understand what it was there for, but it was just boring. And those two guys were awful actors.
Yeah, but it was gone in 6 minutes. You can't really hold that.
That was 6 minutes where you could have fit in another sack punching blue.
I was okay with it because it was quick, clean, and then he's on the boat and
It was
he's in America in 10 minutes, basically.
You know what that reminded me of though? The French Foreign Legion blokes, the Stookie brothers from White Man Can't Jump. Just like they're just the force that's just off to the side that's just chasing you for reasons.
Yeah, that's probably a better.
Could you have just had the escape from the Foreign Legion, and obviously he's an illegal immigrant.
Yeah.
You didn't need the two guys on his hammer.
Yeah, so you're saying they've been America's.
Like the Foreign Legion escape you needed.
But again, it tied him up to be, in when what's his name, Jaw, when the toaster sees him being chased by them.
Is he 2 slice or a 4 slice?
It's definitely a 4 slice. Fuck, it's just about a 6 slice, mate. It's one of those deluxe models.
Is that a dimple or just a crater in your face, mate? I can't tell.
But so that's when he sees that. Again, it's really simple. It's not overly well thought out, but it's straight down the line. Okay,
you need me now.
You need me now, and so now you're back in the fights.
Right. Yeah.
It's just to keep him fighting for the entire movie.
Yeah.
Plus, you get that sequence at the end where she's like, "I'll give him back to you as like a bloody pulp," and they're like on board for no reason, whatsoever.
When that guy gets him back in the car, he's just escaped the Foreign Legion, and he's like, "This is your option." He's like, "What's it gonna be, stud?" I'm like, "That's literally Olivia Newton-John's line."
Yeah.
Actually, yeah.
I was hoping he was going to go back to it's going to be simple.
What's it gonna be, stud? Get into my car. I found with the Foreign Legion guys, they're just like sitting in a random room looking out with their binoculars.
Yeah.
And they happen to stumble. He's like, that guy's looking at the kid on the bike, and he's like, there's a guy in a hoodie. It's Jean-Claude Van Damme. Let's go fight him.
It's like you're not really covering a lot of ground. It's like there's no one sort of patrolling the back door of the building or something. There's got to be another way.
Street on his run.
So did they know about her being his like sister-in-law? Is that how they?
I'm sure they did.
Because that's why there was a phone call from that dude at the start.
That's right. He said, "Yeah, I've got
the brothers
in
died.
trouble.
This is where he lived. We're gonna stay on it."
And but then they sort of showcase the head of the Foreign Legion being involved at some point and ringing someone, and then
he was gone,
just forgotten.
That was a dislike on its own.
Am I to assume that he was ringing the lady? Well, who was he ringing?
What are the chances, though, that he's got a connection in the States that happens to be the lady that runs the fight ring?
I don't know.
JCVD stumbles on when he walks under a bridge when he gets to America.
It's not that, is it? He just.
I don't think so.
It seemed like he was going to be a bad guy in the movie, and then 13 minutes in, they decided he's finished. We got another bad guy that's a lady, and all it was to put the other two dudes in there to keep him on his toes, and then. When Jaw met them, they kind of made the meeting.
Man with a toaster for a face.
They made the meeting all together at the end, where the guy, for some reason, goes into his language and then goes, "We want to watch." There's no need to say it in your language, mate. You I couldn't understand that. You just said it.
Maybe they're just like, this French bloke doesn't really have much menace, but this poor man's Bridget Nielsen over here is unhinged as fuck. We'll just use her as the baddie. Like, she's got a way more screen presence.
No, I reckon Van Damme, when he first wrote the script for this, he put down a 200-page script that included all sorts of bullshit going on in the background. They went, the guy in the Foreign Legion's involved? What's going on here?
Reams of rewrite.
Read all this out.
Yeah.
See, that was the strange part about the Foreign Legion. That's where I kind of agree with you. That that part was probably too much. The whole setting this guy up and having him there.
Because all you needed
when you came to the Foreign Legion, you gave up, so giving him a serve.
Yeah, the guilt trip. Yeah, mate, don't care.
You've got 6 months to go. Don't ruin it now.
Van cops a number of big serves throughout this movie. Everyone's dishing it up to him.
He's pretty cool, calm, collected through it all.
So how does the French Foreign Legion work? What's the go with it? Is it like a punishment thing?
It seems to be prison.
No, it's kind of like a.
I thought it was like a peace corps sort of thing.
Yeah, kind of.
So,
but anybody can join, I think.
But do you go? Is it like the fucking taking?
Like you don't have to be
Game
a
of Thrones?
Conscription or something.
Yeah, you don't have to be from that country.
Yeah.
No, but it's obviously it's like
um,
maybe like if you're in trouble with the law, you can choose to do that instead of going to jail, like taking the black in Game of Thrones. That's what I was thinking. Maybe it's like that.
I don't know.
Because otherwise, how can they say you don't get to leave yet? Like
in Jean-Claude's world, God knows what it's about. He doesn't.
Yeah, there's no way he's done anything wrong. He's like the shining light.
Let me tell you something. Jean-Claude did not. This was pre the internet, mate. He didn't do any research on this.
No, but didn't he take one for his, take one for the team? For
maybe
his
that's
brother?
what it is. Yeah. He took the
because he's out in the desert sun, and the first time we see him pounding in bloody
steaks
for he's being punished. Then they say I think.
I don't know where he gets time to do his martial arts training because he's doing all sorts of fucking manual labour. I'd be stuffed by the end of that. I'm putting my feet up.
Gotta go do my tai chi. Yeah, that scene just reminded me of the start of Rambo 2 though as well, where he's like in the rock breaking camp. It's like, oh, sorry, Jean-Claude, not the same effect.
We've been there before, mate. Probably a better movie. Although,
still not as good as the start of Rambo 3, where he's belting that copper on top of the fucking Buddhist temple in the middle of nowhere, or whatever he is. Was he a coppersmith? And the stick fighting. Yeah. Of course.
That is definitely a stage tune.
We have to do Rambo 3.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Definitely.
I had one about the strangest little scene being. So he goes to lunch with the lady. They seem to be having lunch overlooking this bloody picturesque ocean kind of view. And while they're sitting there, she says, people in New York are still talking about the fight. And he goes, let them talk. And then they're in a hallway. So you've set up this expensive looking shot, possibly, taking over a whole restaurant for the day to shoot 2 lines that could have been
nothing.
Yeah, they could have been said in the hallway when you then sort of continue that discussion. They have the 2 shots.
You just hear off camera, if you're not going to buy anything,
Stop with the water jugs. If you buy
a meal or leave, we're leaving.
Really upsetting in movies though, where they do that. It's like they start a conversation in a certain location, and then the next line of dialogue that's clearly the same conversation is in somewhere completely different. They're like, "Oh, we're in a car." Like we just pause that conversation.
Yeah,
gotta go get in the car now. And they just walk over, and then they have the next line. Like that's not how the real world works. Like it's always jarring when that happens.
It's like some fucking hack directors just turned up to set one day. He's like, "I've got a fucking great idea. Let's do a montage and a conversation all together.
Yeah.
Sort of chop these shots all together."
And it's a conversation.
They only did 2 scenes.
It's like Raw Deal, I believe, had several of those things
It's
where
just stupid.
the conversation was happening, and then it sort of like fades, and then they're sitting in the exact same room but in different positions, and they're continuing the conversation.
Raw Deal did have
Or
that.
in Raw Deal, I believe it's 1 minute we're flirting, next something about being awesome or something, and then it cuts and he's in the steakhouse. It's like, what the fuck are we doing here?
Yeah, it's just weird. Like it's so because it
It's
made
really
sense.
jarring because it doesn't
made
make
sense. Like the kind of they were shopping and then they have lunch and then they're in the hallway. But why the fuck do you do the lunch just to have 2 lines that mean nothing? Like people talk about the fight, let them talk. Like okay, that sort of doesn't add anything to where we're going here. We already know they want to see you fight again because she's really keen to get you fighting again. Like,
how did you not giggle and go, I hit him in the nuts?
Yeah, did you see that? Oh, absolutely pure over his ball.
Do you have the video? I would like to watch.
Watch this video. Next thing you know,
that's the footage Attila got, so he was scared before the fight.
This guy's as mad at balls as me.
Yeah, just really weird. It was really weird.
That's about it for me.
Well, I mentioned that I thought the only good actor was the little kid. That means every single other person is a terrible actor, and I stand by it.
JCVD.
Nope.
Okay.
What about
Attila oozed a certain menace. Like you could tell he was into ripping tapes. You could tell it.
What about a
It's
cat?
horrible.
The cat looked like it was pretty easy going on set.
The cat was second best. So the kid and the animal were the two best actors.
Well, we forgot to go over that Attila is literally Tong Po's brother.
Yes, in real life.
Is it Abdel Kesey is Attila or whatever, and Michael Kesey is Tong Po.
Yeah.
So Michael Kesey was the second Foreign Legion guy that doesn't talk really.
Yeah, in the show.
Oh, yes. Not the other bloke who's just dreadful. Dreadful, that bloke.
And both of them only got to start because Michael Kesey was good mates with JCVD. They used to train together and stuff.
Oh, really? He did a bit of research.
That's how we got the Tong. No, that was for kickboxer.
Kickboxer, yeah.
So Michael, that's how they met. So. Okay. That's how you got the Tong Po roller. We'll put some eyeliner on this bloke and make him look Asian. Not okay. Well, he's not.
What is he?
I think they're Moroccan or something like that. But yeah, like
we've gone for different ones there. But
he's definitely not. Well, what's Tong Po supposed to be like? Thai or?
Yeah, he's supposed to be Thai. I think that's what they were.
Well, he's doing a Thai style. I couldn't tell you where they actually are in the movie. Oh, no, that's right, Thailand. Remember? They're
the best Thais in Thailand.
Their understanding of Thailand was as good as their understanding of America.
Say anything bad about fucking Kickboxer? Thanks very much.
Oh yeah, you love it. Love Kickboxer.
Way better acting than this. Not really.
Better dance moves.
It's just that movie's got a lot more charisma than this one does.
Who's the better actor?
JCVD or JCVD?
Dennis Dick or?
Oh shit. Yeah, I don't know. That's
As I said at the time, don't piss Dennis Dick off because I believe he could rip your dick off if he wanted to. He was actually, he was a real ass kicker, that bloke. So let's just leave Dennis alone.
Everyone that were bagged.
And look at us, with martial arts specimens.
I've grown some real heat at Steven Seagal. I know that. I'm really worried. He might come and slap me one day.
He's in Scotstoun, Russia, mate.
Steven Seagal, Lord man.
He's not interested in coming after you. Mate, he's rolling around in wads of cash, mate. He's not interested in.
There's no way they'd get in the country anyway, would they?
Let's not get political.
I don't think he's getting in here. Can't even get a press to him.
How does he take a stance, mate? Bandanas should be illegal, that's my point. Anyone that wants to wear a bandana on their head, just stop. Leave Axl Rose out of here too. Just leave him. Not interested.
Any other dislikes? I mean, there's probably a few. There was a few in the lot.
We're getting down into the macro stage.
Yeah, let's not get too deep into the weeds.
You could go on for quite a while.
There's that silly bit in the squash courts where the guys lifted Van Damme up into a choke and then dropped him inexplicably.
I've got him beat. He can't breathe. How about I let him go?
It's the theatre. The theatre of it all, buddy.
It was like a WWE match.
And then the next scene, he's like picked him up and he's just slamming him against each wall like it's the ring in a wrestling match.
Yeah, and then proceeds to shatter some perspex. The glass just somehow just shatters like it's
The squash court though is strangely the most fitting location because it's like what says rich person fighting ring other than squash court? Like, that's actually not a bad idea.
Squash court, that was down in a very rich, exclusive country club.
Yeah, that's what you do as all
mate, can I get in on the course today? Sorry, mate, they're pounded shit out of each other in underground fighting.
It's 7 or 8. We've got a death match. You can probably get in after that.
Well, they give us a half hour to mop the place up.
The only more pretentious place you get is probably like a lacrosse field.
Sorry, mate, the squash court's actually closed. Some idiot, one of the deathmatch guys threw a bloke through the
polo course. They got horses rearing up.
That would have been good.
Can we get in for a game of croquet on Sunday? No, deathmatch there too. Sorry, just gonna have to wait your turn.
Jesus,
underground deathmatch.
JCVD with a croquet mallet. Watch your testicles.
You got the guy from Conan
with the big hammer. That's a mad croquet mallet, mate.
Oh, imagine the sack trawler with a couple of mates wielding croquet mallet.
How about that? The perfect ending at the end of the fight, he just knocks his knackers through the croquet.
How did we get back to ball sacks?
How could you not with this movie?
How do we get away from them?
This movie is one gigantic ball bag. It's just then been squeezed.
Wrong sack.
Any other dislikes? Come on, anything else?
I'm going to have to get too specific.
We're in the macros now.
That was it.
We're down the weeds.
We're losing it.
That was wrong bet.
Was it?
That was wrong bet. Great time with wrong bet there.
Wrong choice.
So good. I'm so happy with that one.
I'm actually surprised you gave it a 2. You give it anything a 2 is a mark of approval.
Hey, try and watch a fucking good movie.
We did.
Nope.
It wasn't this one.
Hey, I'll give good scores when the movie's good. There's no script in this whatsoever.
We have to thank Ben for this, I believe. Ben gave us the run on wrong bet. Apologies to Ben because I know he gave us a list of films to watch and to cover months ago. Of course, I dropped the ball and just forgot about the message or something.
Much like this episode.
Obviously, let's not talk about that. Let's not go into that. But if you want to get in touch with us, send us an email at thrillme@iinet.net.au. Like us on Facebook at Thrill Me Podcast Australia or at Podomatic at thrillme.podomatic.com. Keep an eye out on the Facebook page for our next episode. But until then, take it easy and we'll catch up with everyone later. Cheers. Find the podcast at Podomatic or on iTunes. Don't forget to rate and review. Like us on Facebook at Thrill Me Podcast Australia or contact us at thrillme, all one word, all lowercase, at iinet.net.au.